Ijara, what is ijara? Ijara is lease. Okay, so what's the difficulty? It is lease with certain conditions. What is mudaraba? Mudaraba is investment management. So I don't think there is an issue here. There will be people, you will criticize you, even if you call it Mary. Whatever you call it, they will criticize you.
Next question.
Assalamu alaikum. Andrzej Kulowski, Qatar Islamic Bank. I had two quick questions for the scholars. First one is standardization in Sharia rulings something that is desirable to your opinion? Is there any willingness to do standardization in Sharia rulings? And if that's the case, what is being done to do that? And my second question would be, how do you cope with all the work that you have to do in terms of supervisory of the transactions and of the banks, knowing the three following things that while Islamic finance is on the rise, we see every day more and more Islamic institutions and Islamic products. The IOFI standards are getting higher and higher with more responsibilities for Sharia scholars. We saw the ruling from 2008, and I'm referring to the ruling of 2008 of IOFI on Sharia scholars. And the third point being that we have a relatively low level of specialized scholars with enough financial knowledge. How do you cope with the task of all of that?
Cool.
Thank you.
Let me answer the first question. Inshallah, I try to make it short. Standardization to a certain extent is needed, especially when you have cross-border transaction. It will bring a lot of benefit for having standardization to a certain extent. It can have the issue of, it can lower down the cost, it can mitigate the possibility of non-acceptance and so forth and so on. But we have to be realistic for that particular situation. There is nothing that we can do to standardize everything. Whatever that we want to do, human are human. And for us to have human agreeable to everything is almost impossible. Or otherwise, there is no court of law. Why? The reason for having court of law simply because there are two litigant parties for that. Those who say yes, those who say no. Or otherwise, lawyers also will be out of job for that particular situation. One case, everybody is agreeable to it. So you go to court, the judge will be very happy. Agree, one decision done. So for us to have agreement on everything is impossible. And it's not for the good of the industry also to have everything standardized in the way that is so much in detail standardized. For the general standardization, we have been saying for so many times that the IOFI standard can be used as general, what we call guideline for that particular standardization. And when it comes to particular or detail, we may have differences of opinion here and here. We may try to standardize and harmonize everything, but at the end of the day, we have to accept that differences of opinion is a human nature. That's how we have all the things. Accounting, legal, and all those people, they have differences of opinion as well. I make a joke also, Shanizam also have the same thing. People are talk about Basel II. Basel 1, then people talk about Basel 2. In Malaysia, we try to implement some part of the Basel 2. We have a discussion with the Basel committee, say, wait, we are going to have another third one, Basel 3. So I said, when are we going to have a thing? Because opinion of people will change from time to time easily. So it's not possible to have standardization and everything, yet I believe that standardization, harmonization, and all those things are needed at least to general understanding of the Sharia for a purpose of easing up the discussion, easing up the business, cross-border transaction, cost of transaction, and so forth and so on. Yep.
As for the matter of shortage of Sharia scholars and that they are overburdened, you see, we hear lots of financial institutions and some regulatory bodies and some governments are complaining that we have shortage of Sharia scholars, and we see often this thing in the newspaper and articles also. But my question is, okay, what we are doing to to solve this problem? It is like crying on spilt milk, you know, this milk woman, she spilled some milk and she's starting to cry until the day of judgment. Okay, so, you know, so what are we doing to solve this shortage problem, you know? So we have to see what is needed to create new generations of scholars. Now, the Sharia scholars who are there now, to attract them, for example, what do they need? They don't need financial compensation. Most of them are, you know, well-to-do in a certain extent, to a level. The material return to them is not very attractive. However, they are attracted to teaching, to having students who are bright. Most of them are teachers and professors and ulama. That's their most of enthusiasts. So what did these governments do to bring good students, to encourage good students, to encourage scholarships among students, to have high education places like today we were talking about, a center of excellence in education? You know, to my knowledge, the best place which this have been really, you know, advanced and in a serious matter is Malaysia, the country of Dr. Aznan, where they have institutions like INSIAF, like ISRA, you know, and they have waqf funds, you know, for Sharia scholars, and meetings and publications and so on. This is what should be done. And to attract scholars. In Bahrain, we tried, you know, for example, some scholars, we made them, we granted them permanent residency or citizenship of our countries, and we have succeeded to bring 2 or 3 or 4 of them, because this is what most of them need, you know, some security or some maybe other country to have research in or something like that. But just to speak about shortage of Sharia scholars and do nothing will not lead us to any place, will not take us to any place. As for the burden of work, of course, there is lots of burden of work, but this is the fact of life in many institutions and many working capacities and professions. However, we have also, as you know, in most now, especially big banks and retail banks and commercial banks, what is called the internal Sharia department. Now, the internal Sharia department takes most of the load of the Sharia board, because it is their day-to-day activity to review all the contracts, everything, and any irregularities to be brought to the attention of the board, and any, you know, mistakes or any new guidance needed, and so on and so forth. So there are ways to have, you know, professional groups, and as our Mufti mentioned in today's morning session, there is also professional entities are coming to give these technical help and support, as he mentioned in today's session. Thank you.
Are we done? This is the last question, and then we'll close with this.
This kind of goes with the last question. I'm sorry. My name is Amjad Khadri. I'm from University Islamic Financial. You know, a lot of people in the Islamic finance realm want to start new products in Islamic finance, but one of the factors, especially for startups, is capital. And I was just wondering, what's the best way to get in front of Sharia scholars without it being very expensive for new startups to possibly start new things? I mean, is there an easy way to do that without them putting up a lot of capital to find out that it's something that might not even work, or they might not even have the capital to do it?
Should I respond?
What?
Thank you very much. I still see that the issue of shortage, we are talking so much about the shortage actually. Sometimes we don't utilize rightly the scholars sometimes. There are some scholars who are still available for that matter. Sometimes the only problem that we have also is that we don't want to mix between even in Sharia also we don't have what we call senior and junior anyway. But that's what people always say, senior scholars, junior scholars. In Sharia, you are junior or senior based on your experience and based on your evidence that you have in supporting your judgment, your decision for that.